All right, Broncos country. Hope you guys are having a wonderful start to your week. Today, we're going to be going over my first 53-man roster prediction now that the draft has concluded. Our big wave of signees of the UDFA pool has completed. So I'm going to be giving you guys my prediction there, depth chart, rough depth chart, along with free agent targets at the running back and tight end position. Names that we haven't talked about, okay? Not just going to talk about Nick Chubb and JK Dobbins. Now, I got some other names for you guys. So, hey, y'all join the conversation. Smash that like and subscribe. We're almost to 2,500 followers here in Broncos country. That's wonderful. Let's go ahead and get started, guys. This is my 53-man roster prediction right now. As you can see the total there down at the bottom. 53, and I'm just going to talk you guys through it. So, of course, Nix, Stidham, those are going to be our guys. I'm a little surprised that we haven't signed like a third quarterback, camp arm, or like a developmental quarterback yet, just to have there on the practice squad. But hey, it is what it is. Right now, RJ Harvey is going to be leading our backfield. I do think we keep 4 running backs on the roster. I think we did that for the most part last year as well. Wide receiver, we have 6 guys right there. Now, you notice our king, A.T. Perry. I do not have him on the roster right now. It was really, really hard. But, we're still going to hype up A.T. Perry this summer. We need some stuff to do, right? Tight end, Evan Ingram, Adam Troutman, Lucas Kroll, and, of course, Caleb Lohner. I do have Caleb Lohner making the roster. This goes back to the fact that we kept Frank Crum on the roster, not because he was technically sound. He was very, very raw, but just a high-end athlete that the Broncos did not want to have poached from their roster. I see Caleb Lohner as a similar situation here, and definitely after learning about what Zach Seegers mentioned yesterday on his show on Let's Talk Broncos, being at Dove Valley on day 3, he has it from 2 unrelated sources that Lohner would have been drafted in the 7th round had the Broncos passed on him. So he did have some sneaky interest from other NFL teams as well. Zach has that from 2 unrelated sources. So that's very, very interesting. I think Lohner's going to be on the roster. Now, in terms of the offensive line right here, I'm going with youth. No doubt about it. The one name here in terms of offensive tackle that you might be like, where is he? Matt Pert, I don't have making the roster right now. And that's because I feel like we're going to see a nice jump from Frank Crum. But if Frank Crum does not make that jump, you can just replace him with Pert. That's what I would do. I do have undrafted signee Clay Webb making the roster. He gets his own video, man. But the memes, they're going to be great. And then with Forsyth, Wattenberg, Akins, making the roster as well as our fullback, like Nate Atkins. Root beer, let's go. Now, on the defensive side, we have Zach Allen, JFM, DJ Jones, Malcolm Roche, Savion Jones, and Jordan Jackson, all making it on the defensive line. The guy who's, I think, on the chopping block is either Jordan Jackson or Owazarike. I think we've seen more from Jordan Jackson. I think he makes the roster. At the edge position, basically our top 4 guys, Cooper, Benito, Ellis, Tillman, and then Robinson. At linebacker, Greenlaw, Singleton, Drew Sanders, and Lavelle Bailey, our top 4 linebackers. Safety, again, Brandon Jones, Talanoa Hufanga, PJ Locke, JL Skinner. At corner, Surtain, Barron, Moss, McMillan, Abrams, Drain. So probably like the 2 big cuts from the defensive backfield are DTY and Mathis. Could have put Pert and Owazarike on this little part over here. And then lastly, special teams, Will Lutz, Mitchell Fabroni, and our new draft pick from Emu Plains, Australia, Crawshaw, baby. Jeremy Crawshaw. He's going to be awesome. So that's my 53 right now as it stands. There are a few guys or a few positions that I would love for us to hit on in free agency now moving forward, especially because, guys, in our UDFA pool that we signed yesterday, I'm sure we'll still see some like a few more guys this week maybe, but we didn't even go after a running back or tight end in the undrafted pool. That was surprising. So I think the Broncos definitely have some moves coming, bringing in some veterans into those rooms, whether that's through free agency or trade. Of course, trade, we've talked about the names, Tyler Algier, Travis Etienne, Breece Hall. We'll see what happens with those guys. At tight end, Mark Andrews is still available. I mean, having Mark Andrews and Evan Ingram on the team in 2 tight end sets, that would be a lot of fun. I would love that move. Guys, once we cut Damari Mathis, which I think we are going to do at some point because you're not paying your 6th corner 3 point something million dollars, we save about $3 million cutting him. And so that gives our working cap space right now, after we factor in draft picks, to about 13 to 16 million, depending on whether you want to factor in Damari Mathis into that at all. So, where do we go from here? Let's get to some of these names, guys. Let's start with the running back position. Of course, RJ Harvey. He's going to be our top back as it stands right now. I would love to have kind of that 1B type of running back in here to help supplement. He's not a 25 carry a game kind of guy. We all know that, but dynamic. Audric Estime, I do like him, but I would prefer him to be more like our running back 4 or running back 3, right? Jaleel, I feel like needs some added competition along with Blake Watson. It would be really nice to have a veteran in here that has proven he can pass protect. I think Estime had a total of 8 pass blocks last year. It's just not a lot of data to go behind in terms of where he's at with a pass blocker. So, yes, JK Dobbins, Nick Chubb. Obviously, these guys are at the top of the list, but let's get to some guys I think could be, fun, or one guy that I think could be really fun, kind of a sneaky signing here, and that's Jeff Wilson Jr., 6 feet, 215 pounds or so. If you guys have seen him play, man, this guy's got serious speed for his size. Not super utilized this past year in Miami. The 3.6 yards a carry is a little concerning, right? But only had 16 attempts. It's hard to get into a rhythm when you're getting 1 or 2 carries a game for the most part. You notice when he had 5 attempts, season high week 1 against Jacksonville, he had 5.2 yards a carry. So I find that interesting. But guys, this is one thing that I really like that he brings to the table outside of just his home run speed and large size, is that Gray Dow is a really, really good pass blocker. 83.7. That's very, very good. Gave up no pressures. I'll take it. Now, just like I said with Estime, not a huge sample size this past year, and he's kind of been inconsistent, So that's the thing. 8 pass blocks as well this past year, but he has had times throughout his career where he has demonstrated to where he has been a good pass protector. And again, if you want to disregard the PFF grades, because I know that those can be a little crazy and all over the place, he's given up 2 sacks on 111 pass blocks. I'll take that. 7 pressures on 111 pass blocks. So I think that could be kind of a sneaky signing that I do think would, elevate the room. I don't think that that's hard to do right now outside of RJ Harvey. And receiving, he's got some receiving chops as well. You can look at this. Just a couple of years ago, almost had about 200 yards of receiving, averaged 8.6 yards a catch in 2022. And then this past year still had 6.3 yards a reception. Really, really nice. So Jeff Wilson Jr., 29 years old, a little bit older of a running back, but again, low mileage on the odometer, so to speak. If for some reason we miss out on Dobbins or Chubb, or we decide not to go in that direction, Jeff Wilson's a guy you can sign for real cheap. And he's not going to be Um, he's not going to be getting in the way of making sure that RJ Harvey is developing or anything like that. Our young guys are developing, right? But a solid veteran, I think that we could rely on in important situations. Maybe be there as a third down back if needed. And that was really it for running back. I want to get to the tight ends. Plenty of great like tight end twos available in free agency right now, but my top one is probably Gerald Everett, 6'3", 250. He's had a wonderful career. Great after the catch, athletic. Didn't really do much in Chicago this past year, or I think, he had a better season with the Chargers a couple of seasons ago, but the Bears offense was an absolute mess. I think they had like 2 or 3 different play callers throughout the year. So, um, 30, 31 years old, that's still right in your prime at tight end. And he's a guy that I think you could run some 2 tight end sets with him and Evan Ingram. That would be pretty interesting. Again, like he's, just 2 years removed or season removed from going for 400 yards, 8.1 yards of reception, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, I'll take that. 2022 had over 600 yards of offense. When you look at the run blocking grade as well, that's pass blocking, which he graded out well in. The run blocking, it's meh, 48 essentially. That might just be something we'll have to live with, but this could, in a sense, replace Lucas Kroll, Gerald Everett, and so you could still keep Adam Troutman as your tight end 3. That's also that blocker, along with also having Nate Akins. Speaking of Nate Akins, we could bring in Jordan Akins. That would be kind of fun. 33 years old right now, and I feel like a really good tight end too, a really good backup tight end. I think he's made a very nice career out for himself this past year with Cleveland, 2 touchdowns, almost 400 yards of offense on that terrible offense. Had a bad year in 2023, but you can see, he's been very productive as a tight end too throughout his career, and I think he might have actually been the starter at Houston for periods of time. But nonetheless, he would be a huge upgrade over Lucas Kroll. Those are probably like the 2 guys that I like the most. And again, I'm not worried with age at 33 at tight end, especially for a backup tight end, man. Like, nah. Another kind of sleeper guy, CJ Uzomah, 32 years old, so just a little bit younger than Jordan Akins. Didn't play at all with Philadelphia this year. Guess was on the roster for a while, but again, a couple seasons removed from some productivity with the New York Jets, Cincinnati Bengals. He had a career years last year in 2021 with Joe Burrow, over 600 yards, 6 touchdowns. That could be an interesting signing. Still plenty athletic. All right, the last 2. These guys are kind of dart throws. How about Peyton Henderson? Fairly athletic. I think that he can help in the blocking game, and in small spurts has been real productive. This year with Kansas City, caught all 5 of his targets for 51 yards. It's over 10 yards of reception. And then minimal usage out there in Dallas, but again, I think that if you're just looking to raise the floor of the room, like, this guy's better than Lucas Kroll, I think. Even though maybe I need to give Lucas Kroll another chance. Do I, guys? Y'all let me know. And then a guy that I don't think is really going to help much in the blocking game, at least grades wise, but is definitely, I think, still a fairly dynamic pass catcher is Hayden Hurst with the Chargers last year. 73 yards, no touchdowns. That's kind of meh. Carolina wasn't that great, but again, 2 years removed from a 500-yard season with the Bengals, 3 touchdowns. So again, Hayden Hurst, give me Hayden Hurst in passing situations over Adam Troutman and Lucas Kroll. I think that there are still plenty of really good tight end 2s for us to sign that can elevate this room. So getting back to the 53-man roster, then I'll get to some of your comments if you guys got any. Ultimately, love where our roster is at right now for the most part. I think there's going to be great competition on the offensive line and defensive line, which is really, really good. But and at wide receiver for that matter. I need to do a couple videos on some of the UDFAs that I really like. Of course, Clay Webb, very, very good player. We did sign a couple wide receivers that definitely have me intrigued and definitely are like plus athletes. So I think we're going to have fantastic competition throughout the wide receiver group, along with A.T. Perry, still here. But running back right now and tight end, I think would just leave the most to be desired. I'm very excited about Caleb Lohner. Again, I think he stays on the roster with how we kept Frank Crum and Blake Watson on the roster last year because these guys are plus athletes. And I think Caleb Lohner, as he's learning the tight end position, I'm sure he's going to be able to help us on special teams as well. But again, Zach Seekers saying he had it sourced that Lohner was going to be going in the 7th round if the Broncos did not select him. So let's make sure, hey, we're developing him and see what can happen. But Troutman, Kroll, McLaughlin, Watson, Estime, like all these guys need added competition in here. That's kind of how I'm feeling. So get to some of y'all's comments. Paul saying, Dobbins, please. DK, not JK. What does that mean? What does that mean? DK, DraftKings, not Jello knees. What do you mean? What do you mean, Paul? Shy saying, how do you feel about the Broncos draft pick? Be sure to check out my video I dropped yesterday reviewing it. Oh, we give the Broncos a B grade. Uh, day 1 and day 2 picks, big fans of. Day 3 picks, I can understand where they're coming from. I think the biggest thing that I wish that we had went offense with that Q Robinson pick, but the Q Robinson pick in a vacuum is very exciting just because of the plus athlete that he is. I do wonder if they try and make him an inside linebacker. That would be very, very interesting. But yeah, like I wish that we were able to add another running back or another tight end that is like played tight end. But I'm a big fan of the Jeremy Crawshaw pick there in the 6th round. A lot of people forget that Tyler Loop was drafted beforehand. Kicker, he ended up going to, I think, the Baltimore Ravens. So yeah, you very well could have seen him come off the board very quickly after that, and we drafted him fairly quickly after that. So, but guys, like I'm just not somebody that's going to lose my mind over 6th and 7th round picks. Like, oh, should we have selected Damian Martinez in the 7th round or something like that? Where actually he was picked before Lohner, but this is just an example. I mean, I'm fine with. I wanted Damian Martinez in the 3rd, 4th, 5th rounds, baby. Like that's what I wanted. But the entire NFL passed up on that guy until the 7th round. The entire NFL did, and we're not talking about like, for instance, people say, well, Shador, every team passed on. Yes, but running back is a position that literally every single team needs, and they need multiple guys of. So when you're passing on running backs. DBs is like the same thing too, when every single team is passing on these guys and then they're going in the 7th round. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care. Now, Damon Martinez went slightly after Q Robinson. Maybe I'd be a little bit more upset, but that's just me, man. The trades were a little strange too. I wish that we had just picked up another one so that we could go offense, but yeah, like this is overall, I thought it was a good draft. I think that there was a little bit more that we could have done, but guys, like having a punter, a starting punter, and I'm going to call it a franchise punter. There with Jeremy Crawshaw, man. I think that that's a fine pick at round 6, and I prepared y'all. I said, be ready for us to take a punter in round 6. Go back on my videos and watch them. It was a possibility. So, yeah, and I think Lohner's a really fun pick. Yeah, guys, we're talking about 6th, 7th round picks. Outside of Jonathan Cooper, can you name a good 7th round pick that, we passed on that ended up being amazing or something like that. Like, I'm just, uh, they should be absolute upside picks there. Let's see here. I don't understand what you're saying about DK. Who is DK? Are you saying DK Metcalf? DK, no kidding around. Is this a joke that is just going way over my head? All right. What areas did you say the Broncos need to address after the draft? Sorry, just joined a little late. That's okay. Running back and tight end, man. We have our starters or main pieces. RJ Harvey is going to be, I think, a 50-50 kind of snap guy. Of course, Evan Ingram, our starting tight end, but we run two tight end sets. The good news is that there are a lot of these tight end two type tight ends still available in the second wave of free agency. And now we won't be losing any compensatory picks next year, signing these guys after the draft, from my understanding. And yeah, running back is a little bit thinner. We need a pass protecting back. That's something that the Broncos have talked about. We need, I think, just a nice veteran in the group. Of course, JK Dobbins and Nick Chubb are probably at the top of that list with free agency. But yeah, like I said, Jeff Wilson could be a guy that I think elevates this room. And again, I just don't think we saw enough out of Estime and McLaughlin and, the little bit that we saw from Watson before he got concussed to justify not bringing in another veteran to compete with, right? So that's what I would really like to do. Maybe we target Travis Etienne or Tyler Algier or Breece Hall in the trade market. I'm not sure how available those guys really are, but I do think it's pretty telling, guys, the fact that, again, when these are positions of need, uh, we didn't sign any of those guys in the UDFA pool. It's not because the Broncos are Sean Payton, George Payton are incompetent. They have shown that they're anything but incompetent, right? To me, that's kind of reading the tea leaves and understanding that they got some other moves coming with those groups. I think so. Oh, don't kid around. Yeah, yeah, Paul, man, you got to go to joke school. That went way over my head. That went way over my head. I'm sorry, man. Do you think they didn't get a tight end to compete with Ingram as a promise made? Absolutely not. No, dude. You know what they're promising him? Like 2/3 of his contract guaranteed, man. Nah, man. This is the NFL, dude. Yeah, no, no, not at all. Um, he's getting his money, and that's what it's about. But we need to bring in somebody with a little bit more of an inline skill set, I think. So somebody that's a little bit more complementary for Evan Ingram. So yeah, like somebody that's a better version of Adam Troutman, um, or a better version, much better version of Lucas Kroll. Yeah, I wanted Damian Martinez. Sean likes the guys he likes. Yeah, and I guess some of the big time draft experts, they've said, hey, this wasn't a very deep draft in terms of day three uh, talent. And even though I get excited about all these guys, I think the Broncos drafted in a way that reflected that. I thought that this was very interesting listening to some of the New York Jets stuff. It seemed like they picked guys on day three as well that were primarily um, upside guys with immediate special teams impact. And if you look at what we have done with Q Robinson, Crawshaw, and Lohner, I think all of those guys where they're going to contribute first and foremost. Again, Crawshaw and Q Robinson much more definitively. But Lohner's the type of athlete initially that as he's learning the game, I think he can contribute on special teams very well. Yeah, it's like all those guys are primarily special teams players right now to start off. I find that very interesting that the Jets had a similar draft. Again, Muji, our assistant GM last year, and has been with the Broncos for a long time, is now running the show over there in New York with Aaron Glenn. I found that very interesting, and we'll see kind of as I dive into what more reaction of other NFL teams' drafts are with like how they did on day 3, but that was something that I noticed that I thought was like pretty interesting. And again, maybe some of these day 3 running backs or tight ends. I don't think it was just the Broncos. I think a lot of these running backs falling further and further into round 6, into round 7, I think is pretty telling. I think once you get to round 6 and round 7 with those running backs, just statistically, the odds of those guys working out, you might have similar shots of success being a UDFA at that point. So again, like I kind of wish we used our 4th round pick on another running back. I think that would have been fun. But we'll see how we address it. The fact that we didn't sign any UDFA running backs, I think, is a very, very telling that another move is coming. You're not seeing any comments on this live. Where are you watching from? Maybe it's on Twitter. No, you're on YouTube. Man, I don't know. Update your app. Is Nick Chubb back to 8% of what he was in Cleveland? Give me him because he's better than what we got at 80%. Yeah. Especially, man, just pass protection and all those things. The mental aspect of a veteran like Nick Chubb could bring to this room, I think, is invaluable. So I really like the Jets draft too, Eli. And I don't find that a coincidence. I think the Jets might have gotten this thing finally right with Muji and Glenn outside of the quarterback position. Not a fan of Justin Fields at all, but you can't say it's not going to be fun to watch. T Fishes, who's a couple players drafted by other teams you're excited to watch? Well, I'm excited to watch whatever is going on in Cleveland. The divide that's going you don't draft Dylan Gabriel and Shador Sanders if there's not a divide. The 5 quarterbacks they got there is insane. Obviously, I think Shador's the best out of that group. We'll see what happens there. Very excited to watch Travis Hunter play both ways in Jacksonville. Again, I was a guy that when he came out to Colorado, I was wondering, could he do the same thing coming up from Jackson State? Obviously won a Heisman, obviously showed that he could do it. And there should be no reason, in my opinion, why he can't do it in the NFL with the support of the organization. And that's clear that the Jags have that as well. I think that's going to be really fun to watch with him and Brian Thomas Jr., Trevor Lawrence. Again, like Liam Cohen, man, resurrected Baker Mayfield. And I really want that to work out. I think that would be a lot of fun. Let's see some other guys that I'm interested to watch. Um, Not Ashton Genty. Sorry, man. Can't do that with the Raiders. Matthew Golden with the Packers is kind of like a sneaky one. I think that could be a really fun offense. And I believe they also drafted TCU wide receiver Savion Williams, who I think is kind of more of a raw upside kind of guy. I do find it kind of interesting that we drafted like big time athletes. The only other like big time athlete we didn't draft was at wide receiver. That was really the only one, and that was Pat Bryant. But good thing about him is he has those measurables, the size, right, the weight. He's going to help out in the blocking game. But we did pass on Savion Williams for Pat Bryant, which I thought was interesting because I think everybody else that we got is plus athletes. Yeah, I do think Shador will get a game or two. It's going to be interesting to see like how all the reps work out because like there's limited reps, and so I think Shador and Dylan Gabriel. I mean, they really got to come in firing on all cylinders in rookie minicamp because, and Shador even more so because that draft capital matters. But I think a good thing in terms of Shador is that it seems like the organization or the big players in the organization seem to be really big fans of him, offering him a lot of support. And again, if you guys don't follow my Buff channel, and you're wondering why I feel like Shador fell, it's as simple as this, man. He didn't have an agent, I think, and when you do not have an agent as being as high profile like that, sometimes you will slide because you cannot control the media narratives. I think it's very clear that they were getting some wrong information or for whatever reasons, right? And Drew Rosenhaus does not allow this to happen if he is Shador's agent. There is no way. I think Shiloh, through the draft process, saw this, and I think it told you all that you needed to know was seeing him sign with Drew Rosenhaus on day 3 and then immediately signing with the Bucks as a UDFA right after the draft concluded. Uh, I think that was just a huge misstep by um, the Sanders family in retrospect. I definitely think so, but I don't think it has anything to do with his talent. I think again, Drew Rosenhaus is making sure that you're prepared, that you're talking to all the teams. Agents get their guys drafted, so again, in the draft, if you got nobody vouching for you, or with agents, they have relationships with all these teams because they also have guys on these teams, other clients. So uh, there's repercussions if they're getting lied to or being fed misinformation, or if they're not getting the truth from how meetings went or what scouts thought. And when you don't have an agent, this is the risk that you run. Lamar Jackson went through the same thing too. Again, talked about as a wide receiver, as a running back throughout his whole draft prep, and you saw him slip all the way as a Heisman winner. You turn on the tape, he can throw the ball, but slips all the way to 32. And NFL teams also don't just like negotiating with families. They don't. And luckily, the Ravens could kind of look past those things and see the true talent Lamar Jackson is, right? 2-time MVP. Hopefully, he wins the Super Bowl here. He's my favorite quarterback outside of Bo Nix in the NFL. So, yeah, like the Ravens had it right, but again, um, uh, that's what it boils down to, man, is just not having an agent. Well, those agents want to get paid, but it's like they have a max. Well, those agents want to get paid, and so that's how they're going to get those guys drafted. But in terms of, I think the cap is either 2.5 or 3.5% of the negotiated contract for NFL agents. Guys, that's just a small percentage to pay for so much stress and so much energy that you have to put forward off the table, off your shoulders now. Yeah, like it's a small price to pay for making sure you're maximizing your your fullest value. Travis Hunter, Young Money, Lil Wayne's agency. Lil Wayne is not his agent, but he they have real agents working for it. But you see that Travis Hunter has an agent and his value is absolutely maximized going number 2. Yeah, here we go, James. I like this. Chubb was coming off an Achilles last season, still performed. He's a monster. Yeah, and I'm sure he could help the guys in terms of just overall like recovering and everything like that. And we've had a wonderful training staff too, so maybe we can actually keep Nick Chubb healthy. Now trade for Breece Hall or Jonathan Taylor. Interesting. You think the Colts are looking to trade Jonathan Taylor? A 2026 third round pick should do. Yeah, maybe you sign him to like a 2-3 year extension. That could be fun. So you got one running back paid, another one in RJ Harvey, on a rookie deal for 4 years. That could be fun. Dang, you're not a fan of Lamar Jackson? Well, you can't deny, man, that he's a damn good quarterback. Like at this point. Oh yeah, I forgot we signed Sam Ellinger. But yeah, no way he's on the 53. I think at this point I understood keeping 3 quarterbacks on the roster last year, especially with one being a rookie, but this year there's no need for that. And I think Sam Ellinger has been around long enough to where you can stash him away on the practice squad. If you want to develop him as like a Taysom Hill tight end type of guy too, you could do that, and I think use practice squad elevations as well. Um, and Sam Franklin Jr. Who is Sam Franklin Jr.? Dude, I'm sorry, man. Oh, yeah, the special teams guy that we signed. Um, no, I don't have him making the roster right now. But Bam Show, maybe I'm wrong on that one. Maybe we go with 5 safeties and, we get rid of a guy such as Alex Forsyth if Webb is that guy on the interior, man. Man, yeah. Hey, shout out to all the Broncoholics here. I don't think I even put a video out on, Sam Franklin Jr., but he did have a pick six of somebody like a year or 2 ago. And, yeah, nice special teams ad, but we saw this last year with some of the guys that we signed, primarily more for special teams, is that, they were game day elevations from the practice squad, and then as injuries happen, some of these guys get brought up into the 53. That very well could be a case for somebody like Sam Ellinger or Sam Franklin Jr. I think at the very least they're on the practice squad, like they are part of the team going into the season in some capacity. Yeah, sorry guys. Oh yeah, a Big E Bronco, dude. Oh my god, dude, this is going, this is insane, dude. I feel like you've never watched Lamar if you're calling him a running back that's playing quarterback, man. I'm gonna fight you on this one, man. I think that is absolutely insane. I think that's absolutely insane. Lamar Jackson has shown, man, he can win. But you're talking about Lamar Jackson the way people were talking about Peyton Manning this far into his career. Just saying, just saying. I will fight you on Lamar Jackson, man. I will fight you. Don't even tell me you'd rather have Josh Allen over Lamar Jackson. Not having it on this channel. No, no. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, dude. I'm about to block y'all. I'm about to block y'all. T Fish, do you think Pat takes a starting position over Troy or Valet this year? He very well could. Probably more likely going above Valet, just because you wonder like how much is really there still with him. I think now going into his age 27 year. But we'll have to see. I still like our young wide receivers. I really do. And again, Troy Franklin, 1,000-yard receiver. We'll see, man. But Troy Franklin is who everybody wishes Tez Johnson was. I'm just going to say it. David, do you think the undrafted center can push Wattenberg for being the starter? Maybe. We'll see how he is in pass protection. I mean, from what I've watched and read about him, it seems like he's an absolute bully in the run game, which is where Wattenberg really needs to improve. And I think it wasn't for the Powerade thing in high school, 7-8 years ago, that he very well could have been drafted. But that is just a sick thing, and I understand why it could still follow him around. But I think he was an all-American guy at Jacksonville State the last couple of years, or like all-conference guy. And again, was a 5-star. He was a top 30 guy overall coming out as a high school recruit. Again, at Georgia, I think only played in 5 games, but he's a dog, man. I I would say it's probably less likely than likely, but I think it does say a lot for the athlete that he is, that I'm not completely ruling it out. But I think that Forsyth should definitely be be on watch, man. I think he should. I'm starting to think you don't know how to write quarterbacks now because he isn't a running back that's playing quarterback. You can say what you want because I run first quarterback. That's like, sorry, man. Sorry, Biggie, man. I I don't know what you're trying to say here, man. Oh man, I'm a big Josh Allen guy. He's a legend already, man. If Joe Burrow played for another team, he'd probably be talked about this way a lot more. He's a run first quarterback. He is just like Cam Newton. Once his running ability is gone, he will be out of the league. I think Cam Newton was out of the league when his shoulder went to crap. Yeah, no, I'm just gonna go with Lamar Jackson, man. But That's me, man. I think Josh Allen, man, those Bills, they're a cursed franchise. The Baltimore Ravens, they're not a cursed franchise, man. Yeah, yeah. I got Big E typing incomplete sentences right now, man. I'm sorry, man. Weinberg better not accept a Gatorade from our UDFS center before he goes out for the reps. No, he should, man, because he's just trying to get him extra protein, man. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Gatorade does need protein. Agreed. I like Alex, regardless of the loss to the Chiefs. It wasn't completely his fault. Yeah, yeah. I like Forsyth too, but I know damn well. I think uh, Webb he's going to help us blocking on special teams. No, no. This wasn't just domestic violence. This was sexual assault, man. Leave him for the Chiefs. Lamar can sling that rock. Thank you. Thank you. I need somebody to come to my defense. I feel like, man, my friends Big E, Bronco, Markey, all these guys getting at me, man, saying uh, Lamar Jackson, man, not that guy. But I say he's a dog. Maybe I need to start David Talks Lamar. I'm not starting David Talks Ravens, but man, I love Lamar Jackson, man. He's a lot of fun to watch. Early Blake Bortles reminds me of Josh Allen when Jacksonville had a top 5 defense. Um, uh, uh, dude, Ace, I gotta be honest, man. Uh, I don't know how to respond to that one, man. Josh Allen, Josh Allen's still a very, very good player. Very, very good player. Top 5 quarterback in the NFL, man. But uh, uh, all right. Dude, it's hot take Monday, man. I had no idea we were this divided on Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, man. Um, oh, because I'm using talk to text, I'm trying to do things. I understand. We got to get the AI going. We got to get the AI in a better state. RJ Harvey's going to be so much fun. Anybody hating on that pick said Broncos could have drafted him later. Who did you want the Broncos to draft, or who was your next running back on the board? The only one I have heard is Cam Scattaboo, who went in the 4th round yesterday. That means RJ Harvey was the top running back on the board. So, pick 60, I think is fine. I think it's a little on the higher end, obviously, for where I thought he would go. But it's not the highest where I thought he could go. Yeah, man, 2-time MVP, could have easily won a 3rd this year. That drop in Buffalo will haunt them, but Lamar and the Ravens will still be back. Yeah, totally, man. Yeah, give Mark Andrews a fresh start out here. That's what yeah, Isaiah Post my bond. Wow. Wow. Hey, I tell a joke. Dude, that's right. Now, Paul, you're spelling Lamar as llama. Interesting. Interesting. By the way, guys, our punter's from Emu Plains, Australia. Emu Plains. Emus. Can't hate that pick, man. Oh, yeah, I know, Biggie. It's all love. It's all having fun, man. This is why it's fun to have something to argue about. Honestly, you know, it's fun. Sean watched his tape and fell in love with him, and Sean we trust. Yeah, and Sean and George Payton. I think that overall they've done a good job since they've been here. It was just that 2022 draft class has taken a little bit longer than we expected. Hey, Coach Chris says, love the show. The picks were somewhat of a reach based on draft day, but in years' time, we'll hopefully see it differently. Yeah. Yeah. No doubt. Like, I understand if you think they're a little bit of a reach, but to say, like, definitively. Like, we could have gotten Pat Bryant in the 6th round, where he was on, certain draft rankings boards, man. Guys, people were trolling us last year for maybe picking the most overrated first-round quarterback ever. That's what they were saying, right? At the very best, most of these places were saying he was the 6th best quarterback in the draft. He was the 6th best quarterback, and now he's top 3 in this class, I say. Do you think Q could play inside linebacker off ball, though? Athletically, he can. I just feel like it's a really hard position to learn, but maybe Dre Greenlaw can really help out with that. I'm just hesitant. I just can't ever think of a time that we've made a outside linebacker or an edge guy, an inside linebacker throughout like my history as a Broncos fan throughout my lifetime, and where it's like worked out, you know. See, that was a good joke. Paul, you're getting better. Yeah. You're getting better, man. That's awesome. See, we're improving now. I'm happy with our picks. Maybe we'll get Scattaboo in a couple of years as a free agent and then win a Super Bowl. That's my reach comment of the day. Um, like, I know that there were some big Scattaboo lovers, man, but I didn't know that it was, to this extent being like, man, I hope we bring this guy in at some point, man. We need him. Oh, man. How many games are the Broncos winning if with this roster? Well, um, I'll go with man, I don't even know our schedule too, but it's a third place schedule. Why can't we win 12? Why can't we win 12? No, your llama was the best joke, Paul. I thought. Q will this is a hot take right here. Q will be the replacement of Benito once Nick walks next year. Can't afford all of those in a contract year now. Ooh, Coach Chris, you're getting me fired up here. You're getting me fired up here. Nick Benito should be our top extension candidate right now, over guys like Zach Allen and JFM and Cortland Sutton. You do not let guys with Von Miller-esque speed, twitch, athleticism walk. At the very least, man, we trade them, but I don't think that's happening. We do have plenty of cap space next year to lock up all those guys if we wanted to. I don't think a 4th round pick in Q Robinson, a guy that's played like 300 snaps in his football career right now, is at all a threat to Nick Benito. Maybe in a few years he's a threat to somebody like that on the roster, but for a guy that I think was purely an athleticism and special teams pick at the forefront, are you going to see him develop enough to where after his rookie year you're okay moving off of an all-pro guy? I just don't see that. Well, Benito ain't good against the run. He was better than he was his rookie year for sure. I think he's taken a development now, taken some development. Now, will he be Jonathan Cooper in the run game ever? No, but again, like, guys, look at what he can bring to the table, not what he's not elite at, man. Like, yeah, that's I don't know what to say, man. I thought we were all in agreement here. We wanted Nick Benino here. Well, we're in the division now with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert, man, with elite quarterbacks, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and I'll call him elite too. I'm not saying he's not elite, guys. We need to get after the pass rusher, or we need to get after the quarterback with our pass rushers. Well, exactly, and that's why Vaughn's a Hall of Famer, BK. I'm not saying that Nick Benino's a Hall of Famer or even a Ring of Famer right now. No, but he's a damn good pass rusher. damn good. Yeah. But at what cost? I don't know. We still got like 100 million in free agency next year. We got guys on a rookie scale, man. Um, we got plenty. We could technically sign all 4 of those guys: Zach Allen, Cortland Sutton, JFM, and Nick Bonito if we wanted to. We'll see how we want to do it. But I think Nick Bonito and Josh Allen are the top, or Zach Allen are the top guys, with Nick Bonito being one, because that dude can get after the passer. But so can Zach Allen. He's just a little bit older. That's why I have him under a little bit. Yeah. Q's here to spell the D line, give those boys a break. Yeah, maybe blitz from a box linebacker position, which he did a little bit at Alabama. I think he had like 50 snaps in the box this past year. No way we are signing Malcolm Roche, John Franklin Myers, Allen, and Bonino. Yeah, Bonino is someone you could certainly get something for, and he's going to demand top dollar. And that's why I say you should keep him, because he's worth being paid top dollar. That's how I feel about it. And I won't even trade JFM, guys. No, I think JFM is one of those guys to where we're trying to win games this year, man. If he's in a contract year, he's in a contract year, but it's not like we're letting an all-pro guy go into a contract year. If we let Zach Allen go into this season unsigned, I will be upset. But guys like JFM or Cortland Sutton, I can understand wanting them to just play through the contract. But guys, we're trying to win games, man. The Bo Nix on a Super Bowl, on a rookie contract, the Super Bowl window is open right now, baby. You want to have depth. You don't want to be trading JFM like what the Jets did for, a bag of chips and likely not getting what you wanted back. It's taken Bonita 4 years to become an all-pro. 3. Yeah, 3. But yes, it just takes time, man. Hopefully Ellis takes a huge leap. Our secondary will help with coverage sacks. Yeah. I think, again, biggest question right now is where we're at with the inside linebacker group. Drew Sanders, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Especially when we got the biggest owners in football, the richest owners in football. We can sign these guys to huge signing bonuses, keep their cap hit low, do what the Eagles are doing when they identified their window. And guys, the Eagles might repeat, man. I loved what they did in the draft. I think the team is still hopefully with Drew Sanders. Probably why we didn't draft true inside linebacker. I agree with you, man. I think that was telling. Another guy that we could have drafted, I think, in that 4th round, depending on the position, is and maybe he went in the 5th. I'm trying to remember. Notre Dame linebacker Jack Kaiser. That could have been an interesting pick. But yeah, completely punted on inside linebacker with the draft. Very interesting. Oh, yeah, I wanted Demetrius Knight. He went early, though. Yeah, really good athlete and did go early. I think he went 2nd round, didn't he? What does this mean? Howie always wins Howie season? I'm missing this joke, guys. Howie always wins Howie season. Who is Howie? Who is Howie? Am I missing something here? What's going on, yo? All right, guys. Thank you so much. Howie Roseman. Thank you. Thank you, BK. I got to get out of here. It's time for me to get some food. Got a buff stream I need to do later today. Really appreciate you guys chiming in here. It's fun going back and forth with y'all. We'll table the Lamar Jackson debate for later, But hey, maybe we need to debate a little bit more about this Nick Bonito thing. I didn't think so, but it sounds like we're pretty divided, which is a lot of fun. So as long as it's not about a quarterback, we don't have that. We can fight about all these other players. But really appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe if you haven't yet, and please be sure to check out my friends. Kodiak Broncos podcast, Marquee Sports, Let's Talk Broncos, the MHRT Network, and I know I'm forgetting others, but it's a fun community that we're building here, and you guys are the reason why it's so much fun. Take care, y'all. Go Broncos.